Hey everyone, I'm Rather Coherent, and welcome back to the third scenario of Return to Forgotten Age Seekers Only. Hopefully the Threads of Fate is where things start turning around for us, because so far it's been a little bit of a shit show. I'm definitely enjoying having not picked Ursula, and having just picked generically strong Seekers, because it really does showcase the weakness of this sort of decision making. As you can see by this, I actually changed my decks and didn't go through with my originally planned upgrade phase. I got a Charisma in Mandy. Let's go talk about my original plan for her deck versus what's happening now. Originally, this Mandy deck doesn't go for Marissa. It's going to pick up a Miskatonic Funding, and it's going to use that to play Kirby and Christopher. That's not happening. There are two problems with that. The first one is I desperately need money, and I really don't need a book boost. So spending the money to play a Christopher or a Kirby really doesn't seem helpful. The second problem is I have to identify Ancient Stones right now, and there's really no meaningful 3 experience upgrade I can do if I get Ancient Stones. And we're not doing well, so I need to get power right now. So I'm going with Charisma over Miskatonic Funding, and eventually I'm going to cut Kirby from the deck entirely. And right now, the highest priority in this scenario, more than even winning the scenario, is I have to identify Ancient Stones with at least 7 charges. I would like to get 8 or even 9, but I will just, throw this scenario away and give up my chance of winning to get this from 6 to 7. And I'll be greedy as hell for an 8 or a 9 if the opportunity presents itself, but it's really important that I do this. Archive of Conduits is probably not getting identified this scenario. I'm going to give it a shot if I can, but I sort of have to hit it opening hand to do it, because if I don't hit it opening hand, if I hit it later on in the scenario and I've already done most of the locations, it's just not going to work. And unfortunately, playing it early will slow us down early, but I think this is going to be the first scenario where we do kind of decently. If memory serves, there aren't that many enemies in this encounter deck. I'm ready to be real upset when I'm wrong, but hopefully I'm not. Coming over to Amanda's deck, originally I didn't want to upgrade my Cryptic Writings. Having seen how my economy went last scenario, admittedly I drew actually no economy cards that ended up getting played, except for 1 or 2 Cryptic Writings in Amanda. I realize I need the economy now. Like I said with Mandy, I need a power spike now, so I'm taking Cryptic Research, Cryptic Writings as my upgrade this time on Amanda. Coming back into the game in terms of the agenda setup, I used this last time, but I saved the game after I set it up. So, to quickly go through what we've done, the choices we made are that we gave the route to Harlan Ernstone, we told the police about Alejandro, Ichtaka left without us, and for the new scenario, I believe we're looking for the source for the return to, yes. So let's read all of these agendas and acts. Honestly, let's actually not do that. This video is going to be so much longer if I go through this and I have to read 12 act cards, even relatively short ones. So instead, let's summarize them. Agenda 1A, 3 Fates, 6 Doom Threshold. At any point we can reside, which is good to know, because it turns out we might need to do that. I'm happy it doesn't have to be from a specific location. That could be very relevant. Act 1A, Hardens in Danger. We need 4 clues to advance this, and to do it, we have to go to Miskatonic University. Or Missing Persons. We need 2 clues to advance this, but we have to be in East Town. Trial of the Huntress is another 4 clue one. To advance this, we have to go to Rivertown. And in North Side, we can spend 2 clues to advance Search for the Source. Now, I have no specific attachment to any of these, and ideally want to do all of them, so I'm going to quickly drop resource tokens next to all of our current objective locations, which are North Side, East Town, Rivertown, and Miskatonic. So we've got this sort of stair-step pattern of objectives in the middle. We spawn at Rivertown. It's got 2 clues. How many clues do we need to advance the Rivertown goal? Rivertown is a 4-clue goal, unfortunately. It's like they planned this or something. It's a 1-shroud, 2-clue location. Let's get into our mulligans. For Amanda, we're going to immediately toss this weakness. Unrelenting Practice makes perfect. Say no more, Chief. I think I just am investigating what do our scenario cards look like? Are there penalties? That affects unrelenting choices a lot. -2 if you fail, lose a clue. I don't even have clues yet, and we don't have cultists or tablets because we're forging our own path. I forgot to recap that. If you didn't watch the very end of the last video, we took all the choices required to forge our own path. We have no cultists, no tablets, and 2 squids in the bag. So yeah, we can take unrelenting checks with no fear, especially at the start before we get our clues. We're going to be tossing these unnecessary skills and this shortcut, looking for meaningful assets like Dream Enhancing Serum is one of them, or Dream Diary or Cryptic Research, but this is very, very good. Over here for Mandy, I briefly wondered if I had shuffled the deck, but I evidently have, which is good news because that means that I hit Mr. Rook. I think I hold Kirby as well. I can't play him for a little bit, No, there's no reason to hold Kirby. I can't play him for a little bit. I'd rather something else. Mr. Rook will be able to find something else. He'll, like, within the next 3 turns, Mr. Rook will find either Kirby or Milan. There's just no reason to hold Kirby now. Unfortunately, my practice makes perfect gets a little bit worse, but not too much worse. And it's looking like we might be able to do some pretty sick things with Amanda and Mandy's ability on turn 1. Mandy's ability, by the way, is absolutely the strongest thing in the game with another Seeker in your team. Generally speaking, I think the order of early game power for the big 4 Seekers that Rex is clearly the best. Then Harvey is actually a little bit stronger than Mandy early on because of Mandy's experience problems and defiance on Mr. Rook. And then Amanda and Mandy are like really close. I actually think Amanda might be even a little bit stronger than Mandy early on, which is really surprising me. But if you have a second Seeker in your party who runs Practice Makes Perfect, Mandy's ability is insane. It actually is to the point where I think Mandy's the strongest early game Seeker if you run her alongside another Seeker. I did not realize how valuable this would be. Admittedly, it comes at the cost of Mandy's own power, but there's nothing you can do that's better than hitting a second ideal Practice Makes Perfect on your teammate. Unfortunately for me, I have to take a break right now. My table wants to go play Forgotten Age at this very moment, so I'll be picking up with the first turn when I get back. Alright, I'm back. I'm ready to get started. I've moved all the acts down to their relevant locations, so it seems easier to do things that way. And coming into the game, it looks like we need to do the Amanda thing before we get started. We're going to be going with our original unrelenting plan. We'll be playing Lab Assistant instead of one of them, I think. And since we're at a one-trial location with no penalties, I believe that is the case. Yeah, well, I would lose a clue if I failed on the second investigate and passed on the first, but that's so unlikely it's basically no penalty. I'm always playing Lab Assistant this turn to increase my hand size as opposed to overdrawing with unrelenting. So I should do that first in case it informs a decision somewhere along the way. My decision feels thoroughly unchanged. I could play Dream Enhancing Serum and only investigate once. I don't think I'll be doing that though. Let's go ahead and seal +100 and investigate at 3-1. -2 was a pass. I forgot to draw my cards. That should have happened before I even rolled, and I'll take my clue. We're looking at the low-level cryptic writings. I'll take my money. And a shortcut. Still not really a reason to stop. Gonna feel silly if I... Actually, if I hit a squid, I don't even fail. Holy shit. Wow, that's wild. Nothing, I'll just take both clues then, and I'll draw my cards, because I just keep thinking I have to wait until I've taken the test here. Hell yeah. Dream Diary is fantastic to see. As Mandy, I no longer need to find clues on my turn. I think I would use Mr. Rook as my last action if I can. That way if I summon an enemy, I don't just have to skip the rest of my turn. There's a promise of power here, I could evade them. And it's also super unlikely that I hit Shocking Discovery into exactly an enemy, so I'm going to use it now to try to get a better turn. I could just Deep Knowledge first. My brain just stopped. I'm actually just like dumbfounded, like, wait, which one is better? Do I Deep Knowledge or do I Mr. Rook? I think you Deep Knowledge first, because that can inform your Mr. Rook picks. But if you play Mr. Rook first, it literally never affects what your Deep Knowledge does. Your Deep Knowledge is random card draw. So I play the Deep Knowledge first, put in the curses, draw 3 cards, immediately regret that decision because I hit my signature Occult Evidence. Admittedly, I couldn't have used its ability anyway, but I am sad about it. And then as a Lightning Bolt, I'm going to use Mr. Rook's ability. Oh, there are some choices here. There are some serious choices here. I mean, we're always triggering this. There's no reason we would ever not. And I'm going to gain the resources because I need the early economy more than a longer-lasting Mr. Rook. So I could do wildly different things with this. I could just grab 2 pieces of the Pendant of the Queen and try to do that. I could grab the Archive of Conduits and crack the case to like get more economy later and start trying to identify the archive. Because this is one of the few maps that does exist from turn 1. I can actually start working on this archive if I set it down right now. And I think if I don't do it now, I might never get a good chance to do it. I think I'm going to take Archive of Conduits and crack the case. I'm not the biggest fan of this. It feels a little bit wrong, but it's what I'm going to do. And then because I have too many cards in hand, I'm just going to play the Archive of Conduits. I need to set down these resource tokens. Before I forget, I'm going to shuffle my deck. I think I'm going to drop them like this with the intent of just walking a circle around the map, going through the objectives, doing them all. I could drop 1 here, make it a little bit easier, but then I'd be wasting my investigate action. I'm not a big fan of that. I'm just a little bit too greedy for efficiency to feel good about that decision. I like this a lot for my archive placements. That'll be it for our turn, so we go into the upkeep phase. Leg broke immediately. That happened a little bit faster than I was expecting it to. Over here for Amanda, we get to crack the case too. Top of the round, 1 of 6 doom and evil cards. Oh no, the door is locked. I feel like this happens to me all the time. Like I just regularly see locked door hit a location with no clues in it. I don't know if I'm just really lucky with that specific interaction or if that's like par for the course. I could commit skills to this, but it's only 1/1 damage and Mr. Rook is expendable, so I'll just take the test and pass it anyway. Not that I needed to. Mr. Rook's gonna die to the second Mr. Rook, but sure, I appreciate it. Investigation phase, we do the Amanda thing. I think I'm going to take this as a setup turn, just to move and play out Dream Diary, Dream Enhancing Serum. And I've got a plan that's borderline unplayable, so I'm just going to put that under me. That is my first action. I'm going to move up here. Something in my gut's telling me to go right, but I don't know what it is, so I'm going to go with my original plan, which is moving left. We're going to Mystic University, search the top 6 for a tome or spell. That could potentially be very good, but with only a couple hits in each deck, it doesn't seem like a good plan. Anyway, 4 Shroud, 4 Clues, Victory 1. Then my next 2 actions, I'm going to spend all of my resources, well, not quite all of them, all but 1, playing Dream Diary and Dream Enhancing Serum. That's it for Amanda. For Mandy, probably should have went first. I'm not really playing around Shock and Discovery right here. I'm going to go left. It's just this awkward situation that Mandy always ends up in early on when you're like, shit, how do I play around Shock and Discovery until it finally hits you? Because you're trying to minimize the nightmare scenario where you draw it into an enemy and skip your turn. But I think it's right to use Practice Makes Perfect here on an investigate check and try not to hit your weakness. God, that was scary. Oh, that's very close. Okay. I don't hit a deduction, unfortunately, but I do grab Reception and Rapture to trigger this. Get 2 more resources. This puts me at investigating 5, 6, 7, 8 to 4, just like I was planning on. I wouldn't mind going up a little bit higher than this to beat the -5. I'll throw in the deduction to beat -5. That seems like it's a good decision. Oh god, there are curses in the bag. I forgot I played Deep Knowledge. Did I play Deep Knowledge? Did I just forget to remove curses? I played Deep Knowledge. Alright. Okay, good. Easy game. I'll take my 2 clues and be embarrassed about my apparently incredibly poor memory. Enraptured is a charge or a secret, so I actually do get use out of it on the Mr. Rook. And I'll draw the 1 card from the Perception. I don't know that I shuffled my deck just now, but I don't remember Jeremiah Kirby at all. He's just not a card I really notice anymore, unfortunately. I say that, but since I don't have Milan, I might be playing him. I'm not. I have to play out this Occult Lexicon. It just needs to be in play. Enemies will show up eventually. Gotta do it. So we're playing out the Occult Lexicon as our last action. And that's it for us. Enemy phase, there are none. Upkeep phase. Practice Makes Perfect is sick, and it triggers my Dream Enhancing Serum, which, by the way, is in play, so I should click this in. Holy hell, those are some good draws. Over here, Crack the Case is nice, but it puts us up to 9 cards, which is not street legal. Goodbye, Occult Evidence. Top of the round, 2 of 6 Doom and Evil cards. Oh, I didn't use my Mr. Rook. Well, it would have cost me a discard anyway, so I guess it's not the biggest deal, but I do feel silly. Amanda hit Nobody's Home. It's going to cost us 1 additional action whenever we investigate here, so we'd like to have a deduction to do it. And Mandy is going to see Shadowed. There are no cultists. Take 1 horror. Sorry about that, Mr. Rook. And gain Surge. And he's going to be aloof at our location. Start of the investigation phase. We do the Amanda thing. We're about to get Dream Diary. That's not the card I wanted to see at all. I've had a shortcut. I could put deduction under me. Investigate here. Shortcut over. Investigate twice. That sounds pretty sick. Who investigated this last turn? It was Mandy, right? Yeah, it was. She's the one who committed these skills. I need to remember to actually get the Archive of Conduits charge when I use it. I'm glad I remember that now as opposed to later when I would have no idea what happens. But over here, I do think it's correct to put deduction under Amanda, and then use Practice Makes Perfect with Mandy's ability to make sure I get through the skill test. Then first action, I'm investigating and playing Practice Makes Perfect. I'm searching the top 9 for 2 cards. We did manage to hit 2 skills. We hit Prophesy, Promise of Power. That's some pretty big numbers. I don't think we're quite to 3 Doom yet. We're not. That's still 5, 6, 7, 8. This should be in our hand. Do I want to go higher? I commit this Perception. No reason not to. 10 to 4. 0. Draw a card from this. Forgot to add a curse. It could only possibly hurt me because I would have gotten curse into 0. These 2 go to my hand. And we take both clues. The really good part of this is I can crack the case now. I think we both have a crack the case, right? There's 1 crack the case. Oh my god, we have 3 crack the cases. This is a far cry from last scenario. What do I want to do with my 12 resources? Mandy's got Jeremiah Kirby and his own Blood Right duty. He could use a lot of that money. Meanwhile, Amanda really doesn't have much in the way of expenses. Yeah, we're going to put Mandy to 10, Amanda to 5. That's some pretty good crack the case happening. I think I missed the money for myself there, but I'm not too beat up about it. That was, however, 2 actions because of Nobody's Home, which will now be discarded. Next, I'm going to shortcut into the next location. Also, Dream Enhancing Serum is currently tapped already, so I can't use it. I shortcut into the next location. Do I want to trigger this first? I did. Harlan Ernstone. This cost me 4 resources, or 4 clues rather, to trigger it. That's all the clues on Amanda. He's going to spawn in Easttown and take his act deck with him. And he's going to need us to discard the top 3 cards of our deck to parlay and test head 4. We need to get 2 clues on him to advance the act, I believe. Yes. Anyway, like I was saying, I shortcut over after I advance that agenda. We're going to see what Northside's about. 3 Shroud, 4 clues. As an action, you can spend 5 resources to get 2 clues from the token pool. I'm under the impression that you don't need to do this. There are enough clues on the map to, like, pay for that peril card, where you have to spend a clue or take your damage several times. And even then, you still can progress all the acts enough, so I don't think we'll ever need to do that. Instead of just investigating, our base isn't very good. I can commit Essence of the Dream to this if I wanted to. Let's play our Magnifying Glass first. There's literally no reason to not do that. I'm not sure that I need to play this Cryptic Research right now. I think I want to play the Cryptic Research so it could hit my weakness, and if it does, that lets me committed to this test. We missed it. Occult Lexicon makes me feel a lot safer, though. I'm glad to see that. 3 to 3 is nowhere near good enough. We need more than that. I think I commit this Magnifying Glass, which is largely irrelevant, and a Promise of Power. No, I need these Promise of Powers to the various head checks around the scenario. I use the Essence of the Dream to go up 4, and the Magnifying Glass to beat the -5 and Curse -3. Didn't need them, but that's still fine. We get 2 clues, and that'll be it for Amanda's turn. Mandy's going to draw 2 cards as her first action and shuffle the blood right back in. Probably should have played the Jeremiah Kirby first, but considering the cards I hit, I'm glad I didn't, since neither of those are even. I'm going to toss the Jeremiah Kirby, actually, and spend a resource. Milan's a better ally. And that will kill this man. I'm going to move over like a pleb. And then I'm going to use a charge on my Mr. Rook to see if I can get something worth playing. Or if I can just get my weakness out of the way. Still don't get my weakness out of the way. Not really a bad thing, but... I can take Segment of Onyx and get pretty close to finishing the Pendant of the Queen. We're going to trigger this, and we're going to use it to get the secret on Mr. Rook, to avoid having to play the next Mr. Rook for as long as possible. I take the Milan. I discarded Kirby just now, I need to take the Milan, and then I'll play him for 4 resources. Get my book trending upwards as it really needs to. If we get an entity right now, it's all on Amanda to deal with it, which is unfortunate, because she really doesn't have enough resources to do that. No, she has exactly enough, unless we get a Night Gaunt. If we get a Night Gaunt, then she's 1 short and we have a problem. Anyway, there are no enemies. Upkeep phase. Shortcut's nice to see. And Ancient Stone is great. We need to crack it somewhere. But we can't do that for a while, actually, because we have to identify this, and we have this sort of mandatory in play for various reasons. Actually, I got so excited I hit spacebar. Actually, Ancient Stone is not a problem to crack at all. Once I finish the scenario, I can just, like, be hoarding Promise of Powers, because that's what you do towards the end of a scenario. I'll use Pendant of the Queen to teleport back here, and then investigate with the Ancient Stones and the Promise of Powers, like, as the very last thing I do to just crack it. That's a really clean solution. I've never tried to identify this in somebody who had Pendant of the Queen Promise of Power before, but it's a really good solution. Anyway, Mythos phase. Top of the round. 3 of 6 Doom. Prophecy finally coming online. Haunting Shadow, I spend the clue. Over here, we have another Brotherhood Acolytes. We'll put him in front of us. 2 locations in front of us. That way, if he spawns some more Acolytes, we can deal with them pretty easily all at once. Save us a little bit of trouble. That brings us to the investigation phase. We draw a card. We put something under Amanda. I think this is the one that spawns the running guy in the top left. I'm not certain about that. It's the new one, right? Yeah, Act 1G is the running man who spawns in the top left. I think he always spawns in the top left. I don't know. It could be one of the randomized things. But if that is the case, I really want to put Promise of Power under me, shortcut over, do his test, follow him, do his test, and just be done with it immediately. I'm going to do that. I put Promise of Power under me. As soon as we start our turns, I'm going to go as Amanda. I'm going to spend the resources, or the clues rather, on Mandy, and advance this. Hell yes. Please tell me you spawn here. He does in fact spawn at Miskatonic University. You can parlay him by testing 2 foot. If you succeed, place a clue on him and he runs away 1 location. If you fail, don't place a clue, he runs 2. So, yep, we're doing exactly what I was hoping was the case with Amanda. We're shortcutting in. We're testing 6 to 2. We have this in our hand now. If we had, like... I could put the Prophesize towards these to beat -5 and Curse -3. This gets a lot harder if I don't, so I'm going to. So I'm going to test that at +6. -3. I forgot to add the Curse. Let's just quickly see if it should have been a Curse. That feels results-oriented, though, right? I don't know. It feels like forgetting to add a Curse and then rolling to see if you would have hit a Curse in addition to your previous token feels cheating somehow. Like, now that it's good, I feel like if I were to remove the Curse, it shouldn't happen. I'm just going to leave the Curse in. It's objectively worse for me because I would have beaten the -5. Anyway, he takes a clue, and he runs back to where we were, and I follow him. And I do the exact same thing again, remembering to add the Curse first this time. Squid, not even close to a problem. Advance this shit immediately. Get out of here, you're a completed act, dude. Well, if I had remembered where this was, I would have put him somewhere different. This is going to spawn with 4 clues on it connected to Rivertown, unfortunately. Anyway, that's it for Amanda's turn. Unfortunately, we are 1, 2, 3 locations away from the loading docks, and we have a very limited amount of time to get there, because after 4 turns, it becomes an incompletable objective, because you can't get the clues anymore. If Mandy Mr. Rooks and assembles a pendant on the Queen, she can just do it before the 4 turns finishes with the pendant on the Queen, which would be pretty sick. I'm going to first action tap Mr. Rook, and we're finally going to hit Shocking Discovery, right? No, we dodged it again. Neat. But we don't finish our pendant of the Queen either. Anyway, I was tapping this. I'm not attached to any Practice Makes Perfect results this scenario. I'm not even sure I'm playing Practice Makes Perfect this time. I guess I take Bloodright and Segment of Onyx. I'm going to take Shortcut Segment of Onyx instead, actually. It's a little bit greedy. And then I'm going to use this shortcut to boot Amanda towards her objective, because she has to go deal with that. Definitely would have been better to send him down. I just forgot that he spawns this. I think he can spawn a different thing, perhaps, if you have a different act too. Because I don't particularly remember the loading docks. Anyway, next action, I'm investigating. Playing Practice Makes Perfect to dig out my weakness sounds like it could be a tremendous mistake, because I don't have Bloodright in hand. So instead, I'm just going to investigate with Perception at, what is it, 8 to 3? 8 to 3. Curse, -3, get out of here, that's what I beat. I will take both of these, exhaust my Archive of Conduits and put this clue on it, or this resource rather, this ley line. Draw my card from Perception. We have some Pendant of the Queen things happening once we get there. So I think I'm just investigating again with another Perception. 8 to 3 again. +1, I'll take the last clue. Draw my card. At this point, we know next time we search our deck, we're triggering our weakness. All I've done is Mr. Rook shortcut, investigate, so I have an action left, and I use it to walk right. Downtown is 3 fouled, 2 clues, action, emergency cash, limit once per game, and no victory. So we'll just be trying to skirt past this. I know I'm skipping the curiosity shot, but I think there's a like 50-50 shot you have an objective here at the end. And I'm sort of expecting to have to make like 2 full laps of this to finish all the objectives. Because I will be going for a full 12-act completion. I'm not just trying to get a couple of them done. Anyway, that's it for us. Enemies do nothing. They're aloof and not at our locations. Upkeep. That is a good draw. But I have to toss something, and all the cards are cards that I don't really want to toss. Deep Knowledge, I don't see getting played, considering my hand is already full. Right on time, Cryptic Writings. Over here, our hand size is fine, though, which brings us to the Mythos phase. 4 of 6 Doom. Holy shit, we are going fast. This is more how I thought Seekers Only would look. Nobody's home. Surges, because there's nothing else here. Yep, no additional penalty. This gives 4-ish Doom. You have to commit this. It's been errata that you can't choose to commit. So I'm testing 6 to 4. I don't really feel the need to go harder than that. We pass, get it out of here. Over here, I kind of wanted to use my Bloodright for other things. I guess I can use it for you, though. The awkward thing is I know my Bloodright's hitting shit that I don't want to discard, right? Like the Segment of Onyx, a Promise of Power, other Bloodrights. Maybe I just want to evade this guy with Promise of Power and just like leave him behind me for a while. I can search my deck with Mr. Rook, or with Practice Makes Perfect, right? I can evade him, play Practice Makes Perfect. It's going to just fail and draw an encounter card, that's fine. And the important part of this is that after that happens, I can use Mr. Rook to search, finish Pendant of the Queen, and auto-evade the guy. That seems pretty sick. I'm going to do that. I evade. I play practice makes perfect. I search my deck. Oh no, it hit shocking discovery. And then we draw an encounter card. The door to this area that I didn't want to investigate is locked. That's kind of ideal. Then we evade 3 to 2. Oh. Well, that all went shockingly better than I thought it would. The plan was good, but that's very high positive variance. Also, the plan wasn't as good as I thought it was. There is a resource here. I have to investigate this for ley lines. Do I want to try to break it down with, like, Promise of Power? Well, regardless, let's quickly tap our Mr. Rook, use our ability, and see what we're hitting. Oh, what a surprise. It's Segment of Onyx, and I think it's Promise of Power. And we commit both of them to break this door down. I don't like it. That's not true. I actually kind of like it. I play my Segments of Onyx, though, for 3 resources to get a Pendant of the Queen online. As always, I use clues for charges, and secrets are resources to keep them separate for Eldritch Sophist reasons, even when I'm not playing it. This really sucks if I autofail, but provided that I don't autofail, it's just a very, very good. 0, door broken. Unfortunately, that means we will get caught by this man unless we, like, use Pendant of the Queen to teleport somewhere irrelevant. That's pointless. We can just use Pendant of the Queen to evade him. But last action, we're investigating, and Raptured puts us at 8 to 2? 3? 8 to 3. Curses can make this feel pretty shit. Oh no. Oh no. Well, we get our normal number of charges with Pendant of the Queen. We'll get more later. That's it for... No, it's not it for us. Mandy has just skipped Amanda's turn entirely because I was very enthusiastic about dealing with his enemy. Let's do Promise of Power stuff on Amanda. I just forgot this. Kind of important. What's Amanda's turn? She's going down here, dealing with this. We lost 1 resource at the end of the last round. This turn, I'm just moving twice as a mandatory thing that I have to do. I'm not really investigating that much. The stuff over here isn't really relevant. Occult Lexicon's not even in play, huh? I might just move twice, play Occult Lexicon for safety. In which case I can just throw something irrelevant under me like this. And then that's my turn. I move twice. I play my Occult Lexicon for safety. Doing that cost me my Magnifying Glass, actually. I think I'm just fine with that. I'm not happy about it, but I'm fine with it. We're going with that plan. Putting the Blood Rights in a little bit wrong here. I just won't be protected like this. I have to run down here, so trying to put anything under me to help me investigate is not really a great decision. And that's it for us. Any phase and nothing happens. Upkeep phase, this man readies and re-engages Mandy. Locked door wasn't as beneficial as I initially thought it was. We're good on hand size and Amanda, just barely. 5 of 6 doom, still making a pretty damn good pace. This is not a big deal. I'm fine with failing this. We're actually getting a benefit from this one, surprisingly. There's actually no reason not to use Essence of Dream unless I want to put it under me to investigate. I kind of want to put it under me to investigate, though. Yeah, I want to put it under me to investigate, so I take the test. I lose a clue. I fail. I take 1-1. I could kill my lab assistant. I'm not against that, actually. That way I can get a new lab assistant in play, and that will help me with soaking damage in the future. I'm afraid to keep going down in numbers because that card gets very scary towards the end of the game. Over here we have Onlings of Darkness. I'm trying to investigate this location. Do you fucking mind? Oh, Christ. Well, there's nothing we can do about it, so we failed the test. We take 1-1. Sorry about that, Mr. Rook. Sorry about that, Milan. We disengage from this man. We pop back to the middle. That's the end of the Mythos phase. Start the investigation phase. We have to do the Amanda thing. Deduction goes under her because this is a clue finding turn. Then we're investigating. We need big numbers. We play practice makes perfect as the first thing we're doing. Let's see what's going under us. Perception. There's nothing else. That brings us up to a staggering 5 to 4. Let's commit Essence of the Dream to go 9 to 4. We'll take 2 clues, draw a card, put Perception in our hand, and discard this, or set it aside, rather. Going to investigate again. I think I commit this Cryptic Writings for the book. I think that's its best use right now. I'm going to commit Perception as well. This gets me 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to 4. I want to be a little bit higher than that. There's not really a great way to do that, though. I commit the unrelenting. I steal the good tokens. I understand that this like makes my odds worse in a lot of ways, but drawing 2 cards sort of balances it out. Anyway, we got rid of... My brain instantly spaced. I'm pretty sure that was curse -2. I think that's what it was. For some reason, I started thinking that I had gotten rid of 2 of them, but we did not. Anyway, this goes away, we draw a card in the reception, this goes away. We take our last clues, because deduction under Amanda is just silly sometimes. And last action, we're going to play this lab assistant. Actually, I think the act advances immediately. Let's make sure it doesn't interfere. We did the loading dock, so we get to take a Veto Whitsley and put her into play under Amanda. That does, in fact, impact my decision-making immediately. So we didn't play this didn't go down. We have this person instead, and they're 3/3 soak. They have an ability. It's not, like, super important, but it is an ability. Let's go ahead and use it. Look at the top card of the encounter deck. That's going to cost me a clue or deal 2 damage to me. I can afford to burn the clue, so I'm going to leave it there. We could have dealt a horror to her to get rid of it, but we're not doing that. These tokens no longer matter. We've gotten all the clues in this location. This is a completed act. Just put it in the pile. Anyway, we've just finished the location. Let's crack the case and gain 3 resources to afford all these damn blood rights. I think I just move as my last action back up to the middle. Mandy's turn. I can afford to take 1 horror and let it kill the Mr. Rook. I guess first things first, I should draw 2 cards with my Mr. Rook. I don't care about Magnifying Glass. I don't really care about Deduction or Blood Right. I take the Mr. Rook because I'm going to need him very soon. And I take the Magnifying Glass so that when I discard things with my Blood Right very soon, it'll be fine. Anyway, that's our last charge of this Mr. Rook. He does not have long for this world. Next, I'm going to move over. I'm going to Blood Right for 2 and shuffle it in. We discard this Magnifying Glass and kill this Cultist. After spending 1 resource, of course. We should probably check and see what the location does, as always. 2 Shroud, 2 Clues. Allies here are 2 cheaper. That's nice. I don't think we're very well equipped to do this. No, it's another parlay test that we need to rely on Amanda for. I'm a little bit low on resources here. Amanda's economy appears to be much stronger than Mandy's. Or maybe her input cost is just much lower. That sounds right. Looking over here, I spent much less money than I have over here. Anyway, I need to get this thing, so I'm going to investigate real quick at 6-2. Or is it 6-3? Regardless, doesn't matter. I can search the top 3 of my deck. Nice. I always forget that Mandy's ability is just sick. Anyway, I already used my ability on Mr. Rook. I'll just be taking... Is it may or have to? Oh, wait. I can commit it to a test? Well, I don't feel like wasting my deduction on this, but it's cool that I could have. I'll take the blood, right? Because I've got to take something. And that's it for us. I could evade this man. I don't care. He moves down and kills the Mr. Rook. Sorry about that, buddy. And by moves down, I mean engages me and kills the Mr. Rook. Upkeep phase. I don't know why I drew a token. It's near the right button. Final card, Whispers from the Deep. Not super thrilled about that. Final card, Deduction. We knew that was coming. Top of the round, Agenda advances. There are more than 2 act decks, so no penalty to shuffle the encounter deck. The next agenda is the exact same as the last one. 6 Shroud, Resign action. Mythos phase continues. Draw your evil cards. This one's going to spawn over here with Mandy. Did I just investigate with Mandy, succeed, and forget about everything but the star? That is exactly what happened. I should have gotten a clue, gotten money with Milan, and gotten a ley line on the Archive of Conduits. I was just like, oh wow, it's been so long since I rolled a star on Mandy, I don't know what this does. Anyway, this man should have a Doom thanks to that Cultist spawning. And for Mandy's evil card, I do not have no clues, so I'm going to test for bulk. The sad thing is, if I just remembered missing persons here, I could have spent my 2 clues and been less dangerous here. Anyway, up to. No penalty, no punish whatsoever. Nice. Start of the round, Amanda does the Amanda thing. This gets discarded. This goes under me because I didn't get a test to throw it away on. So I'm basically skipping this turn, unfortunately. And I'll put my 1 horror on Veda because she is here to soak for me. This goes to my hand. Amanda could walk over and Blood Right instead of Mandy. Let's first spend my 4 clues and see what this act is, because I just haven't progressed it yet. It goes into play, connecting to this location as well. 3 shroud, 4 clues. If you're here, you take 1 horror or discard cards on hand. Victory 1. That's a thing we have to do eventually, but we don't have to do it right now. I'm going to move right on Amanda, head over here. And I'm going to spend this turn playing out some copies of Blood Rights. I need to deal 4 damage total. So I can use 2 of them and shuffle them both back in. Draw 2, shuffle them in. Discard Magnifying Glass, discard Cryptic Writing, spend 2 resources. I play Cryptic Research on Mandy to give her 3 draws. Unfortunately, one of them was a prank and didn't actually happen. Goodbye, Shocking Discovery. I'm going to play another Blood Right, draw 2 cards, shuffle it back in. These are not the cards I was looking for. Toss them, spend 2 more. Both of these men are dead because I spent a total of 4 resources and 4 cards. Get them out of here. Whispers in the Deep doesn't really do anything to you if you can just testlessly kill every enemy on the board, though. Kind of funny. Amanda has enough clues to progress this act, so let's see what's going on here. It's the jail. It connects to Easttown. So this agenda is going to move over. For the sake of visual ease, I need to move this stuff down a little bit. And this is what we're dealing with. I should spend my 2 clues, though. The jail has the ability to search you back for a weapon. Other than that, which we don't care about, it's a 3 shroud, 4 clue, victory 1 location. And our objective is to get all of the clues out of there and then spend them. I'm going to play Mr. Rook and try to use his ability with a double tap. If it fails, it sucks, but it is probably correct. It's a 50-50 to fail. Goes on. Alright, it's just still directly on top of my deck. Alright, Words of Power. I can no longer deal damage to enemies with Doom or find clues if they're at my location. I might just kill that right now before it has a chance to pile up and be a problem. It seems important that I get my move in every turn because I can only move once. Yeah. I'm going to move instead. I want to get rid of this, but it doesn't feel correct. I move, I investigate, I commit perception, deduction to go up from 6 to 9. -2, not even close. I'll take 2 clues. I will take a money from Milan. I will draw my card with perception. Not the card I wanted. Well, Blood Right needs fuel, so sorry about that astounding revelation. That's it for us. Enemy phase, they're all dead. Upkeep phase. Perception's fine. Blood Right's great. Top of the round, 1 of 6 Doom, and evil cards. Shadowed, take a horror, gain surge. Wish you would stop that. It's just brutal. I think every time I've ever drawn Shadowed, it was take 1, test this horror, gain surge, and it just feels awful. Like, I guess I could be leaving a cultist alive. What would that do for me? Potentially take more horror, and definitely add a Doom. It doesn't actually feel much better. Shadowed is just a rough card. I've got no clues, gain surge. Locked door, we will not be getting this last clue. Over here for Amanda, nobody's home. This will take an extra action to investigate. This is really annoying. I don't like nobody's home right now. I don't have to deal with it just yet, though, because we have to do the Amanda thing. Put Essence of the Dream under me in that case. She has Parlay Test to do this round. Let's figure out what Mr. Rook is setting, see if that helps our decision-making. Get any easier. I'm double tapping him, as always. We get 2 resources, so that's something. Actually, I might use it as a secret on him. I'll take it as a secret on him, because I'm going to be using him a lot very soon. I hit the deduction, which I needed to hit to make the skill test not terrible. And I don't actually want to hit Enraptured. I want to take Practice Makes Perfect to duplicate that style of effect. Practice Makes Perfect goes to my hand. I'm going to investigate as 2 actions, commit deduction. That puts me at 7 to 3. I want a little bit more. I use this Perception. 9 to 3. Star. Search the top 3 of my deck. That's pretty good. Promise of Power is the one that I need for emergency management. This goes away. This goes away. Draw a card. Take both clues. Gain a money from Milan. That's the part I was forgetting about. Last action. Nope. Let's spend these 4 clues immediately and see what happens next. You got the train tracks. They connect to north side. Top of the map. So the train tracks are a 3 shroud, 2 clue location that become a 5 shroud, 2 clue location. We need to get all the clues here to advance that act. Okay, I tap Pendant of the Queen, and I take a clue from that location. And then last action, I walk out of here. If I don't have to be there to spend it, that makes it real easy for me. Next up, it's Amanda's turn. She's currently testing at base 6 to 4. That's honestly not as good as I would like it to be. But I'm also not about to commit huge amounts of cards to each of these to get up higher, so I'm just taking the test as is. Cursed Skull. Skull is actually 0 right now. We've dealt with all the enemies, so that is a pass. He gets 1 clue on him. Testing again. Squid is a -2. That's a pass. We're done already. That was better than I expected it to be. Turns out it was Harlan the whole time. This is a completed act. So our new objective is Harlan Ernstone has taken the relic. We need to get it back from him. He's currently a 4/6/3 enemy with the Relic of Ages attached. He's Victory 1. We could kill him with a bunch of blood rights, but we can also over-evade him to do it. And I'm pretty sure we have some promise of powers in our hands. Do I want to use Mandy's or Amanda's? Do I want to use both? What are my odds by default? 10 to 3? It's really 10 to 6. I actually commit both promise of powers to this because this is like kind of really important. And I don't auto-fail, thank God. If I auto-failed, I'd be killing him with blood rights. I was not happy about the possibility. So he goes to the victory display. I believe that means the act advances immediately. Since he had it, we're going to take control of the Relic of Ages. Doesn't really do anything. And that's another act deck down. And that's our last action as Amanda. We currently have 2 act decks left. We have found the Relic of Ages and talked to the other expedition. We still need to find Alejandro and go figure out what Ishtaka's up to. Anyway, no enemies are alive. Let me make sure I'm not forgetting anyone. I'm not. Upkeep phase. We're good on hand size there. We're not good on hand size here. This can go every time, and that can go. Actually, Dream Enhancing Serum, if I could afford to play it, would be pretty nice. Deep Knowledge can go. I will try to play the Dream Enhancing Serum and get rid of Words of Power this turn. That seems good. Anyway, Mythos phase. 2 of 6 Doom. We're just crushing it this time. I feel like this is probably positive variance. Nobody's home. There's still a clue on this location, so it actually attaches. This one should have been discarded, though, so it can be shuffled back in next time we have to shuffle things. Hunting Shadow. How many clues do we have left to spend? We have those clues here. This one's not about spending clues. I just spend the clue then. I'm not going to need it. Alright, this has been going really, really well. First, I use Pendant of the Queen again. I take a clue from the train tracks. And if Alejandro Velo is attached to a location with no remaining clues, advance. So, yeah, they're just all mysteriously gone somehow. The investigator near us is going to take control of Alejandro. That could be either of us. He's got more soak than Beta. Goodbye, Beta. I'm sorry. Just worried about dying to horror from nonsense on Amanda, just taking 4 horror at a time, and this is another act completed. Oh, I did get a bit ahead of myself. Start the investigation phase. We do the Amanda thing. We need to get over here and investigate this location. We also need to go up top and investigate that one. Anyway, for Amanda, we're just walking twice and then getting started on investigating. I'll throw the Unrelenting under me, just draw 2 cards at the end of the turn. I'm gonna walk down. I'm currently at 3 to 3. You know, I thought that I had better odds than this. I'll admit some of the cards in my hand that are weaker that I don't really care about. I commit Obscure Studies Prophesy to get +4, bringing me at 7. And then I'll commit this Deduction. This will be one of the last times I need it. That's not true. I'll just take it at 7 to 3. -1, get these out of here. I forgot to seal 0/0 +1, but since -1 isn't one of those tokens, it doesn't matter. Anyway, we're taking 2 clues. Because I did use Deduction, didn't I? No, I bet you I'm using Deduction. So I only get 1 clue, but I do get my 2 card draws. Shortcut's really nice. It lets us more thoroughly capitalize on our Deduction next turn. Over here for Amanda, or for Mandy rather, gonna make that mistake until the end of time. In which case I'll move up, I'll just investigate at 6 to 2. Is this a 3-shot location? It is, but it still passes, we're good. I take the clue and the resource. Drop the resource down there, take my clue. That is Archive of Conduits complete. We discard it, gain 4 resources, and record that I have identified the gateway. As Mandy can only move once per round, though I can't move any closer to the Curiosity Shop, which I'm trying to finish off. I'll spend my last action playing this Ancient Stone. We need to identify it too. That's it for us. No enemies in play. Upkeep phase. We're still good on hand size there. Over here, we are good on hand size just barely as well. 3 of 6 Doom and Evil cards. This does nothing because there are no cultists. I'm going to draw the kind of chumpy acolyte style occultist. Throw him at the location in front of Amanda. Actually, I'll throw him at the curiosity shop instead. And then I need to shuffle the deck before I continue. And draw this. Oof, there's the Night God. Been wondering where they were. Was there anything else about summoning him? Nope, you just summon him. There's no additional penalty. We haven't done a great job of duplicating Enraptureds this round, which is unfortunate because it means that our Pendant of the Queen's about to break if we just evade this guy immediately. I should have committed this Enraptured a second ago as investigating, I just wasn't thinking about it. And I'm being punished for that now. Anyway, before we get into that, let's do the Amanda thing. Draw a card. This goes in my hand after I make my decision. I can't do it for this one, though. Let's put down deduction. We need to get some clues. Mandy can just bloodwrite this thing into the fucking ground and then move. That's what we're doing. I'm going to bloodwrite for 2. Draw 2 cards. Shuffle it in. I don't need this. Spend 2 resources. I don't need this. Taking 2 damage. I'm going to bloodwrite for 2 and shuffle it in. I don't need this. And Dream Enhancing Serum no longer seems so important to play. He's dead. Last action, I hobble my broken leg over to the north side. Over here for Amanda, I'm looking at 3-3 for these investigate checks, which isn't the fucking best. I'm going to be committing Perception for sure. Maybe I actually play Deep Knowledge to draw cards. Looking for, like, practice makes perfect. There's really not that much solution to the problem. But I think it might actually be worth to play a Deep Knowledge and draw 3 cards. I could use this to gain 2 resources, but I'm committed instead. I'm going to commit a Perception to this one, as well as a Cryptic Writings, and a Magnifying Glass to get up to +5, 3, +2, +4, +5. Star does nothing, counts for the ticker though. I will draw a card from the Perception. Upgraded Deductions on Amanda would have done a lot of work this game, but there's just so many things that she needs to buy. Next Investigate, I just commit Essence of the Dream, and 1 more card. This other Deep Knowledge to go up to +5. Easy game, discard the Essence of the Dream, or set it aside rather, and discard the Deep Knowledge. Take the last clue, and immediately spend all 4 of them to advance the last act. Or, that's not the last act at all, I don't know what I'm talking about. Set aside, Town Hall is going to go into play. I think that location is over here. Yeah, it connects to downtown, so it's going to be up here. The Town Hall is now Shtaka's destination. The Black Cave and Town Hall are connected now. And then everyone's going to discard the top card of the encounter deck and draw the Treachery if it's a Treachery. Very mean. But yeah, Town Hall's going to be up here across the map from where we're currently at, but we are connected, so it's fine. I've been here for at least 1 turn, and I think only 1 turn. I forgot to use its effect. I take 1 horror, put it on Alejandra. Anyway, let's do our encounter card discards for Amanda. We're going to trigger on Wings of Darkness, which is actually very annoying because it means I'm not going to be here to leave now. I don't really have much in the way of the ability to pass a foot 4 test, so I'm just sighing and losing it. If I committed Prophesy, I would have passed. Anyway, Alejandra is also dead. She's doing terrible at protecting these people. I didn't even look at what Alejandra did. I was like, yeah, Alejandra doesn't do anything. He's just too sick, which it turned out was accurate. Anyway, then I get flown over to Rivertown, and I spend my last action playing Lab Assistant because I want the soak. Shortcut says I'm not as far away as I thought I was. I will actually just shortcut into this because these 2 locations are connected. So shortcuts. Downtown's connected to Town Hall. Forest after you enter. If you have 4 more cards, oof. I don't like that phrase. So you want me to discard down to 3 in Amanda, huh? Gotta keep my weakness. I think next turn I'm just gonna be like Bloodwrite Shuffle, Bloodwrite Shuffle, Bloodwrite Shuffle to refill my hand on Amanda. In which case, Promise of Power and Bloodwrite can go. I'm not happy about it, but it's a solution. And also, after I cycle my deck this time, I'm finally gonna get rid of Unspeakable Oath because we're getting to the point where we're wrapping up the scenario. Anyway, that's it for Amanda's turn. Mandy's went first. No enemies are in play, at least not any that do anything. Upkeep phase. Crack the Case doesn't really matter to me. Bloodwrite always matters to me. 4 of 6 Doom and Evil cards. Conspiracy of Blood finally showed up. It is the cover art after all. We're now going down to a 5 Doom threshold. If there was a cultist we could parlay with him, there is 1, but I mean, it's not something Mandy rather is particularly good at. Over here, Mandy needs to kill a clue. Is there only 1 act left? We got Alejandra, we got Beta, we got the Relic. Yeah, this is all that's left. Okay, thank God we're dodging that 1 encounter card then. Yeah, spending a clue is not a problem at all for me. I forgot to read what our objective actually is. Yeah, we just need to clear out all the clues on this location. In which case, I could just be doing it with Mandy's ability, or Mandy's Pendant of the Queen, rather, but oh well. We have to be careful how we do this. If I do this first, I'll end the scenario too quickly. I have objectives left. Actually, Amanda does not want to be here. She doesn't want to do this objective. Because she needs to go somewhere with no clues first to get rid of the unspeakable. That's fine. That's weird, but it's fine. Going into the investigation phase, we have to do the Amanda thing. Draw a card, discard one, throw something under us. We're wasting this practice case this turn. Amanda's going to leave the location and then play Blood Right twice. Draw 2, shuffle it in, do nothing with them. Draw 2, shuffle it in, do nothing with them. Oh, there's no cards left. In that case, I'll draw 3 because the alternative's not allowed. And there's nothing in this hand that's so bad that I wouldn't want to use it. Mandy's next. I could try to prevent the agenda from advancing. I don't really think I care. I hobble my broken leg up to the Curiosity Shop, which is only 2 Shroud, unfortunately. I've also managed to draw my Enraptureds before my Practice Makes Perfect to duplicate them again. I'm going to Practice Makes Perfect. I'm pretty sure I had my weakness forever ago. Double tap it. There are no skills left in my deck. As you can see, I sort of checked out and stopped thinking. Apparently I've hit all of them already. Unlucky. I commit double Enraptured to investigate at 8-2. That is not even close to stopping me. I put 2 charges on Pendant of the Queen. I use Pendant of the Queen. I take 1 clue from our objective. Also, we did successfully investigate, so let's take our clue and our money with Milan. No reason not to tap this Mr. Rook. I am sticking with I just played it wrong. I could easily say that's stupid, I retconned the action. I guess it should have triggered this astounding revelation. Not that it matters. Put a charge on Mr. Rook. Oh, I can only get 1 card, that's right. So I'll take just the Blood Right then. And then I'll investigate 6-2. Autofail. Not that it matters, we'll just bulldoze through it eventually. No enemies, upkeep phase. Mr. Rook finally showed up again. 5 Doom. That is going to advance the agenda because of this conspiracy of blood. There's only 1 act deck left, place 2 Doom. Time is running out. Do we also shuffle? We also shuffle. For our evil cards, we're going to see Words of Power here. And from another time. If Mandy fails this, we just get rid of Words of Power and then use Blood Right. It's not a big deal. I have nothing to commit to it that I would ever commit anyway. Not that we're ever failing anything. Get out of here with that shit. I'm going to investigate just 3 times straight, I think. I tap my Mr. Rook. I get 2 more cards out of my deck. It's going to be Jeremiah, I guess these events, because I actually can use them, as opposed to Jeremiah, Kirby, and Practice Makes Perfect, which literally do nothing. And then I investigate several times at +4 each time. Curse, -1, that's actually a pass. -2 is a pass. Curse, Skull. Since that man got unlucky, that's also a pass. That is all 3 clues here. And then I use my Pendant of the Queen to teleport down to a 4 Shroud location. Is there only 1? No, there was the loading docks. And there is Town Hall as well. Oh, I could just teleport to Town Hall and finish the scenario there. I don't feel like doing that. This makes me feel like the game is more broken. I'm going to go to this one instead. Once again, I forgot because I wasn't using the ticker. We were supposed to do the Amanda thing. We're just trying to investigate successfully a couple of times. It'll come to my hand after I make the choice. Put down Perception. We need to pass a investigate check. We're currently not doing that great. I'll use Unrelenting and steal the bad stuff. -5, -3 curse. -2 is a pass. Investigate again, commit Essence of the Dream. Yeah, I lived through the worst case mythos possible, so that's fine. And with Essence of the Dream committed, we're going to... Oh, we're 1 card short. In that case, instead of using Essence of the Dream, I'm going to use Practice Makes Perfect. And we're going to see what's in our top 9. Unfortunately, nothing... Oh wait, that's Promise of Power. I'm just blind. We use Promise of Power. That puts us at a total of 8-3. Curse, -2, that's -4. That is 1 better than we needed. I use Reaction and get rid of Unspeakable Oath. Oh, and I should have drawn 2 cards. I forgot about it. That would have gotten Essence of the Dream to work. Anyway, we're pretty much done, barring something really unfortunate happening, so I'll have Amanda move. The only way it goes on longer is if Mandy needs help to get the clue because she auto-fails a couple of rolls. If that is what happens, then I want Amanda to be there to help her. Anyway, the enemy does nothing, upkeep phase. We're good on hand size there. Over here we have to toss something. It'll be this promise of power that literally doesn't work. 3 of 6 Doom, evil cards. On Wings of Darkness, you say. That's still only one location away, do your worst. I lose a clue. I take 1/1. And I pop down here. I'm still one location away, it doesn't matter. Conspiracy of Blood. The Doom threshold is now down to 5. We have 1 turn left. But that's 1 turn more than we need. We draw a card because we're doing the Amanda thing. I throw Dream Enhancing Serum underneath me because we're not actually using it. I walk up here and I end my turn to speed up the video because we are done. I'm going to investigate with Ancient Stones several times now. The base value is 6 to 7. Because the Shroud goes up from 4 to 7 when I use this. First one, I'm going to commit Essence of the Dream and crack the case. And crack the case. We want to get +6. That puts us at 12 to 7, which is up 5. So this is our first attempt at being up 5. -2, did it immediately. Get it out. There's nothing here. I need to record something in my book. And as I've said several times in my standalone videos, I believe that you can always get this 7 charges. It's sort of the standard you expect out of an Ancient Stone. Whether you're throwing a lot of skills at it, throwing promise of powers at it, or just using something like higher education to pay your way through it, there's always a way to get this done at 4 relatively easily. Anyway, I use Pendant of the Queen. I obtain the last clue from this location. And since there are no clues on Ichtaka's destination, advance. Her destination was Town Hall, so we take control of Ichtaka, but it doesn't matter because there are no acts left. Proceed to R1. Since we completed all of the acts, we can get through this relatively quickly. We found the missing relic. Somebody must choose to include it. Amanda draws through her deck faster, so she'll be the one taking that. Since we completed Act 3D, we rescue Alejandro, but because we're forging our own path, instead of getting to include him in our deck, everyone gets 2 bonus experience. For completing Act 3F, we forged a bond with Ichtaka. And again, that's the same thing. We can't actually put it in our deck, so we all get 2 bonus experience instead. The lead investigator, which is Mandy, gets the expedition journal. That's fine. I'm glad it doesn't take up a hand slot. Because we did Act 3G, we recruited the help of another expedition. And that means that somebody can have Veda Whitsley added to their deck. Veda takes up an ally slot, and that's rough, but 1 cost 3/3 soak with the ability to interact positively with the Explore deck is sort of a big deal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think on that between videos, because I also have to think about the supplies. We completed 12 acts. Now, in this resupply checkpoint we're about to hit, how much experience do we get by default? It's a 2-player campaign, so for the resupply, we get 5 each, and then we have 12 EXP for each act that converts to 6 each if we use it all for supplies. I don't know what is optimal with this many supplies available. I'm probably going to heal some trauma on Amanda, or get her a blanket, either or. But next time I'll come back, and the first thing I'll do is I'll tell you what supplies I got, and whether or not I thought Veda was actually worth including in a deck, because she is really sick, but the ally slots and seekers are just so competitive. Anyway, that was an absolute stomp. I expected it to be a little bit harder than that. I think I got really positive variance. Not seeing any Night Gods till like the second half of the campaign was really helpful. I wasn't quite expecting to identify all of Mandy's assets, but being able to do that is absolutely fantastic. We should probably count the experience before we go. We got Harlan, we got all of the locations that were available. That's 8 by default, 10 for missing Ichtaka because we're forging our own path, and 12 for missing Alejandro because we're forging our own path. 12 experience, that's ridiculous. Anyways, I thought Doom of Etzili was going to be where things got easy, but I'm very confident that this is where things get easy. Because next time you see me, I'll be having 2 copies of Ancient Stones in my Mandy deck, and we're not going to be struggling with enemies anymore. We're done with that. I've been Rather Incoherent. If you've been liking the Seekers Only campaign, then give the video a like and subscribe for more content just like this, and I'll see you in the next one.